Council members, we're going to go back to item 65. Item 65. Authorizing a settlement of the matter entitled Drinker Williams et al. Versus the City of Baton Rouge et al. In the amount of $10 million, inclusive of cost, interest, attorney fees, and other amounts, such amounts to be paid out over 5 years in 5 equal payments and approaching $2 million for the first annual payment from funds, insurance reserve funds committed for claims and judgments for said purpose. Subsequent annual payments will be provided for in the annual operating budget. This item may be discussed in executive session by Council Member Dunn. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on item 65? Anyone here to speak on item 65? Showing none, we do have an email comment.
Council members, I have one email comment for item 65 from Philip Allard. I'm in opposition to item 65. I'm still against the settlement of this item by the Metro Council. The Alton Sterling shooting was, of course, a bad overall thing for everyone involved. The store owner apparently allowed Mr. Sterling to continue to sell illegal CDs on his store property, and possibly even knew Mr. Sterling had an illegal concealed handgun in his possession at the store. Many people in the area probably also knew for a long time that Mr. Sterling was selling illegal CDs and had a handgun. Perhaps the store owner should be the one who's responsible for the death of Alton Sterling and should be the one involved in a lawsuit, since the store owner possibly allowed an illegal activity to continue on a store property. Because of all the circumstances involved in this issue and the shooting of Alton Sterling by police, I have no reason to agree that his family should receive any settlement that involves public tax dollars. If the Metro Council has to keep voting on the same issue, then perhaps the Metro Council should just vote once again for a very large settlement, and then propose another settlement, $100 million, for example, and vote in favor of that settlement. I'm sorry, $100, for example, and vote in favor of that settlement. Even though the amount of the proposed settlement has been increased, I believe the following ordinance should apply. Future consideration. Any item which has been considered and voted upon twice shall not be considered by the council for a period of 1 year following the date on which the item was last acted upon, except upon the vote of 2/3 of the entire Metropolitan Council membership. A vote on a motion to postpone action on an item, to defer an item to a subsequent meeting shall not be considered when counting the number of times the item has been considered and voted upon by the council. That concludes the public comments on item 65.
Council members, again, this item may be discussed in executive session. Is there a motion to go in executive session? No motion to go in executive session? Motion by Gode, second by Banks. We're going to adjourn to, are there any objections? We're going to adjourn to executive session until,
Where?
we're going to go to the 8th floor again. Is that Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call back to order this Wednesday, February 10th, regular council meeting of the Metropolitan Council. Back to order. We are still talking about item 65, and I will read that item again for the record. Item 65, which is authorizing a settlement of the matter entitled Drinker Williams et al. Versus City of Baton Rouge et al. In the amount of $10 million, inclusive of cost, interest, attorney fees, and other amounts. Such amount is to be paid out over 5 years in 5 equal payments, and appropriating $2 million for the first annual payment from funds, insurance reserve funds committed for claims and judgments for said purpose. Subsequent annual payments will be provided for in an annual operating budget. This item may be discussed in executive session by Councilmember Dunn. Ladies and gentlemen, we just had a very positive executive session. I want to say to this body, I'm extremely proud of each of you. Everyone had an opportunity to speak. I think we had a very, very productive and positive discussion. And as the chair of the body, let me say that I am so ready for us to put this matter behind us, if at all possible, and move forward. And I feel like that is what's best for the city parish. The best advice I got when taking this position, and I won't call the gentleman's name because he may not want me to put him on blast, but the best advice I got, he said to me, Lamont, you're going to have to learn in your position how to disappoint people without losing their support. He said, you're going to have to learn how to disappoint people without losing their support. No matter what decision we make here tonight, no matter what decision is made in the future, there are going to be people who are disappointed. But what I will submit to you on the campaign trail, I talk to a lot of my constituents, and I represent a very diverse population of people. On one side, we have millionaires, and household median income is over $4 million. And on one side, household median income is less than $19,000 a year. So extreme poverty and extremely wealthy. And I spoke to all of them, of all races, genders, and colors, and backgrounds. And I'm reminded every day that a lot of decisions we make here are going to disappoint people. But because you take the time to talk to your constituents, make yourself available, it's very possible that you will keep their support no matter what you decide. And so I would implore all of you, as we continue to have a discussion this evening, be mindful of that. We all have to learn in this capacity how to disappoint people without losing their support. And the best way we can disappoint people without losing their support is make ourselves available to have tough conversations with our constituents when we know they're disappointed in something we've done, but be willing to explain why we've done it. So with that being said, is there any other council member who'd like to make any comments or statements? I will remind all of you the time now is 7:52, and our council meeting essentially ends at 8 unless we all agree to go for an additional 30 minutes. So, council members. Nobody? Everyone don't speak all at one time. Councilmember Dunn.
I'd like to make the motion to go an additional 30 minutes.
Well, we have to wait till 8 o'clock.
Okay.
We can do it now. Go ahead. Motion by Dunn, second by Hudson. Are there any objections? Having none.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
If I object to it, can we take it up again closer to 8 o'clock? No. No objection.
Meeting has been extended. Now back to council members. Any comments, thoughts, ideas, motions?
Is on?
Go ahead, council member. Go ahead. Council member Coleman.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment of 4.5 million for this.
Wait 4 seconds.
It's green. All right. I'd like to make a friendly amendment of 4.5 million settlement for this case.
Motion to approve at 4.5 million. Is there a second? Second by Dunn. Is there any opposition? We're going to vote on the machine.
Wait,
Go ahead, Councilmember Hudson.
Councilwoman Coleman, I might would just suggest, I'm going to make some comments about your motion, but I might would just suggest, in Councilman Dunn's item, he very expertly parsed out the terms, $2 million per year, and Courtney, you were coming up here. Come on back. If you could make some recommendations on how exactly that motion needs to read to.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yes.
I was coming to point out that that the terms need to be included in the amended number. And if you need finance to come up here to maybe assist with how that is to work out, because I know that the previous numbers about how it was to work out was for the
Yes.
10. I don't know how that would work out for finance. But
Linda?
So it looks like it would be $900,000 per year.
Come on down, Miss Linda.
If we are to
Money lady,
prorate it,
so you tell us.
$900,000 per year to prorate it at the same rate as Councilman Dunn's item. Excuse me.
Well, y'all can pay me the big bucks to tell y'all 9 times 5 is 45. Or I guess you could do $1 million in the first payment, and then you could do $850 over the next 4 years. So it's I think either way,
$1 million in the first year and
50
$850
for the next 4 subsequent
for the
years.
next 4 subsequent
I think that
years.
The math works for sure. Thank you, Linda. Properly motioned and seconded by Councilmember Coleman, second by Dunn. There was one objection. We're going to vote on the machine. I'm sorry, Councilmember
I had
Hudson
some
has some comments.
additional comments. You know, I shared this in the executive session, and like I say, we're not going to discuss the case in its intimacy in an open forum. But I will just say, first, it was a great executive session, and Mayor Pro Tem, you did an exceptional job of leading us through that discussion. You did an exceptional job several days ago of leading us through that discussion. So I think I speak for all of us when I say thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You know, my problem with the item, and really the item at any amount, is that we are stepping out of turn of how we would normally go about settling any case. So it's my opinion that that to do it this way is sort of getting us as a council in the way of the parish attorney's office doing their work. And that's my biggest concern with this item. So I'm going to be opposed, but I'm just so encouraged by the discussion that we had and everybody working together. So please don't take my opposition as not honoring the great discussion that we had in there.
That we're doing it this way, we get in the way of the parish attorney.
There's nothing wrong with doing it this way, because there is not anything that is written at this point saying that it can't be done this way. There are reasons why it should not be done this way, and I think that those reasons have become more evident, probably to the last council members than the newer council members. So it's not that we want to work with council, and so the process is such that we should be working together, and so we are working together now. It's just not in the normal way that we would normally do it. But as Councilman Hudson said earlier, tonight was a great discussion for all, and we were just happy that all council members participated in that discussion. So I think I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, ma'am. So again, Councilmember Gode.
If I want to make a substitute motion, is now the appropriate time?
It is.
I make a substitute motion to defer this item for 2 weeks.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Councilmember Gode, seconded by Councilmember Knoll. We're going to vote on the substitute motion first, but we're going to hear from Councilmember Rocker.
Thank you. I think we left out some pertinent information, and I just want to make sure that it's there. We have information in this item, number 65, that was very well written with regard to inclusive of cost, interest, attorney fees, and any other amount. So I just want to make sure that that is in this subsequent motion, and that's included. Sorry, guys.
Thank you. I do have a question for the parish attorney. Deferring this item, does that do anything, or does it hurt you in any way going forward if we defer this item?
It doesn't, in theory, it doesn't hurt us. The thing is, it's up to y'all. You know, if y'all defer and it goes to council on the 24th and is not voted upon, then we'll go to trial on March 1st. You know, if there's some time in between there for us to try and maybe negotiate, we may be able to do that. But that doesn't leave a lot of time to have a special session if we are able to come to something for y'all to approve it. So it makes the timeframes a lot tighter. But as a general holistic approach, it doesn't have any effect to us, in my opinion.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Dunn.
I want to thank the White and Councilman Hudson and Councilwoman Rocca for adding to making sure we don't take away from the item. one thing that hadn't been mentioned is we also identified the funding source in the original item, so I want to make sure that that's in this item as well.
So the only amendment that I have made based on Ms. Coleman's motion and Mr. Dunn's second was changing $10 million to $4.5 million, and then changing the $2 million annual payment to a $1 million first-year payment and an $850,000 for each subsequent year. All other language would remain the same.
It's 875.
875, okay.
Sorry, I
Thank you, Linda.
So corrected to 875 each. All the other language in the item would remain unchanged based on Ms. Coleman's motion and Mr. Dunn's second.
So procedurally, I want to make some things clear so everyone understands. If we vote on the substitute motion and it doesn't pass, and then we vote on the original motion and it doesn't pass, the item dies tonight. So I just want everyone to be clear as we get ready to vote and what the intent of how our votes is. We have to be very clear on that, because if the item dies tonight, then there's not enough time for it to be reintroduced and voted upon prior to trial. We just don't have enough time to introduce it on the 24th and then hear it. It's just not enough time to do that. So I want to be clear that if we vote on the substitute item first and it fails, and then we vote on the original motion and it fails, then essentially we don't have enough time to do anything prior to trial. So we just have to be very clear and know what we're doing when we're prepared to vote on these items. Time now is 8:03. If we need to take a 4-minute recess for y'all to have some conversation, let's take a 4-minute recess. But I just want us to be clear before we vote what the impact both of these motions failing could have on the item. Mr. Godet. Oh, you want to talk to Ashley? Well, Councilmember Godet wants to speak with our council administrator. Councilmember Moe wants to speak on the item. Councilmember Moe.
No, I was going to also recommend I'd like to take the 4 to 5 minutes, and I would like to speak with you.
Sure.
During that process.
Sure. I've been summoned to the principal's office. So we're going to take, it is 8:03. We're going to take a 5-minute recess and we're going to reconvene at 8:08. Thank you. Call the meeting back to order. It's 8:13. The substitute item on the floor is to defer the motion for 2 weeks. It has been properly motioned by Councilmember Godet, seconded by Councilmember Hudson, and we will vote on the substitute motion.
It was seconded by Councilman Knoll.
Seconded by Councilmember Knoll. We're going to vote on this. First of all, is there any opposition to the substitute motion to defer for 2 weeks? We do have opposition, so we're going to vote on the machine. A yes vote means we defer for 2 weeks. A no vote means we do not.
Council members, the machines are open on the motion to defer for 2 weeks. Six votes, the motion fails.
So we're going to vote on the original motion now. If we vote on the original motion and it dies, I just want to be clear, it doesn't come up again prior to March 1st. So I want to make that clear. If we vote on the original motion now and it doesn't pass, we don't vote again. It doesn't come up again before March 1st. So I just want everybody to be clear. All right.
The original motion was to approve the settlement in the amount of $4.5 million, inclusive of costs, interest, attorney's fees, and any other such amounts, paying out $1 million in the first year and $875,000 each subsequent year, to be paid, and appropriating that amount from the insurance reserve funds committed for claims and judgments. I think that's it.
That's it?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna vote on the original motion. The machines are open.
Machines are open on the motion to approve. Seven votes, the motion carries.
Motion carries. Motion by everyone,